Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Nino Brown Boxing and back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Now, just got finished watching 78 Sports TV live stream, and always a good one. Shout out to 78 Sports TV. During the live stream, I put out a super chat, and in my super chat, I mentioned, in boxing, we discuss the timeline of fighters on a consistent basis. Like in my super chat, I made the example of how when we're discussing Triple G, we discuss his career timeline. The career timeline consists of things he has done, the things that he haven't done. Like Triple G not fighting Ward, even though he said that he'll fight anyone in and around that division. He'll knock them all out. Ward fell into the category, and he didn't fight Andre Ward. When you have guys like the whole Manny Pacquiao-Mayweather saga, and people point out just the drug testing aspect of it, or the saltwater aspect of Manny Pacquiao's shoulder, or if we're talking about just different guys being ducked, other guys stepping up too early. Like prime example, Erickson Lubin will be a guy. He will forever be known for being knocked out by Jermell Charlo in the first round. It will always stick to him. A first round knockout to Jermell Charlo for a guy that stepped up too early it's just a part of it. It's embedded. It's his timeline. But also another aspect of timeline is things that haven't been done. Like a lot of brothers in the LDBC, we are openly speaking on the state of the light heavyweight division and how none of those guys, those Eastern European guys, aren't fighting one another. But brings me to my point of this video. Something that hasn't happened, that didn't happen, that had the space, the opportunity, no political boundaries in the way. A fight that could have happened could have been Erislandy Lara versus Jermell Charlo unification fight 154. This fight could have taken place, could have been in negotiations before Jared Hurd got his title. Now we know unification trumps mandatory. We have an understanding of that. We know sanctioning bodies, they can be iffy and things might not necessarily be consistent. But the fans, we are well aware when a fight is trying to be made and the sanctioning body is getting in the way. And if a fight doesn't happen, or if it does happen, well, we know the true reason. Prime example, when Terrence Crawford was trying to become undisputed against Julius Ndongo, the IBF originally had Sergey Lipinets up next to fight, and Sergey Lipinets got pushed to the side. They allowed the undisputed bout to take precedence over, take priority over the fight, and it went down. So whatever mandatories Lara could have had at the time, whatever mandatories Jermell could have had at the time, they could have waited one additional fight, and it could have been a unification bout for the WBA, the WBC, and if you want to include the IBO, some people do. I know Anthony Joshua does. You can throw the IBO in there as well. Unification, whatever. The fight never happened, and it's something that it's never discussed. It always slips through the cracks. And my whole issue with this is the 154-pound division, to me, is full of killers. It's full of killers. It's full of a bunch of young brothers between the ages of 23 and 35 that's willing to go. And I feel like any one of these guys can give each other a dominant good fight, or possibly beat one another almost on any given day. Like, that's how close the division is. That's how much depth this weight class has. That's why at this point in time in boxing, 154 is my favorite division. With that being said, Jermell Charlo could have unified with Lara. Now, this is the thing. It's never discussed, and it's annoying because when it comes to the whole Jermell Charlo, Jared Hurd saga, it's always ignored, especially, and it's still ignored after the fact when when Hurd beat Lara. People tend to forget the dominant presence that Erislandy Lara has had over the 154-pound division since 2014. He was a WBA champion for a significant amount of time. He's faced tough competition. I was one of the guys that felt that he beat Canelo Alvarez. I mean, he's been in the ring, tough competition. Some people may call Lara boring. I was a guy that always enjoyed Lara's fights. I feel like if you can beat him, you got to make him work. I seen Lara in a fight with Alfredo Angulo. Angulo made Lara work. If you can get in there, you can make him work. It can be a fight. It can be an entertaining fight, and Lara's one of those guys. If you make him fight, he will fight back, and it will be entertaining. But if you don't force him to fight, he's just going to beat you. And I feel like that's what he did against Canelo, but he got robbed. But that's not a hit nor there at this point in time. The overall point of this video is the Jermell Charlo Lara fight. That discussion is always ignored and it's never discussed. It's a part of boxing history. That was a unification bout when two fighters were on PBC. It wasn't like Jaime Munguia or anything like that. It was no network issues. Now, some people would say, well, they were both under Ronnie Shields. I mean, last time I checked, Danny Jacobs just fought that guy. What's his name? Sergey Deverenchenko, I believe. They just fought him. They had the same damn trainer. So I don't want to hear anything about they were in the same camps and they kids play together. Like Adrian Brown would be saying, like, I don't got time for that soft ass shit. They fighters. You in a division with me. You have a belt. We businessmen, right? This is a business. Fighters like to say this all the time. It's a business. So my kids have nothing to do with this. We no longer have the same trainer. We used to have the same trainer. With that being said, the fight could have been made. It wasn't made. The only person between that Jermell Charlo and Lara fight that unified or that attempted to unify and actually went through with it was Lara. He tried. He was unsuccessful to Jarrett Hurd. Now, when the whole discussion comes out that Hurd needs to see Jermell Charlo, I agree. I agree 100%. But let's not pretend like Erislandy Lara was not the number one guy at 154. Under any other circumstance, if you have a guy that wants to unify and he goes after the top dog in the division, it's not frowned upon. It's not frowned upon at all. Let's just say, hypothetically, Tyson Fury was the IBF champion at heavyweight. Wilder was the WBC, and Anthony Joshua had the WBA and the WBO and the IBO, all that other shit. I believe Wilder's the number one heavyweight. I truly believe it. So, if Wilder, he's currently the longest reigning belt holder at the heavyweight division, very comparable to Erislandy Lara being the longest reigning belt holder at 154 at the time. If AJ decided to fight Wilder, I'm not going to say, well, you need to go after Fury. Yeah, eventually, but he went after the top dog when Fury, in this hypothetical situation, had the opportunity to do the same shit, but he didn't. Now, with all that being said, I feel like they still need to fight. I feel like Jarrett Hurd and Erislandy Lara had a very close fight. I feel like Jermell took a loss. Lara took a loss. Lara's coming off of a draw. I don't know if Lara's slowing down. I don't know if he took Brian Castano lightly, whatever the case may be. But in the meantime, Lara needs to be getting a tune-up fight close to the same time that Jermell Charlo will be getting a rematch with Tony Harrison. And I feel like Lara and Jermell need to face off. Because at this point, let's say Lara wins his next fight. Jermell wins, he beats Tony Harrison. Hurd beats J-Rock. At this point, the top guys that Lara fought would be very similar to the same top guys that Hurd fought. Like within the last few years, of course, not earlier in the 2000s, like the 2014, 2015 time when he's not that. But I guess basically what I'm saying that we need to solidify who's the actual number two guy at 154. Because to me, I don't know. I don't know who that is. I truly don't know. Jaime Munguia is not in the mix. We need to solidify who's the true number two. And then after that's been settled, after Lara and Charlo fights for the WBC belt, assuming that Charlo can beat Tony Harrison in a rematch, the winner of that fight needs to go unify with Jared Hurd. Simple as that. It's Nino Brown Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC, and I'm out.